Hey guys, so we are here in beautiful Salt Lake City. Again, this is, I don't know how many times Billy and I have worked together now, but this has got to be the 10th or something. I don't know, something like that. But we're here talking, and actually we're really excited. We just signed and closed a book deal on Billy's life. So ECW Press is going to be putting out a book, and it'll be all of Billy's travels, everything. We've been working on it for the last couple days, full days, just going through stories. It's going to be amazing. But while Billy was right here and we're talking and telling all these stories, something interesting came up in the middle of working on his autobiography, and I thought I'd have Billy discuss it because it's something that's impacted him and you know, other people like Carl Gotch and things of that nature. So without further ado, it's Mr. Billy Robinson. So Billy, so the guys can understand, the people that haven't actually come to the seminar
or trained you,
or trained with you, you know, one of the things that I always found, because I pride myself on going directly to the source, going first person, so I actually know what's going on. And I've been lucky in that regard to work with you and to work with guys like Carl Gotch and Dick Cardinal and other guys. What I always heard, and you've told me this, and Carl would say this, he got so frustrated because, you know, at least with jiu-jitsu, in their system of training, you know, they have belts and there's ways of actually, it's kind of like quality control to say, yeah, this guy actually did work out and do the work. Catch wrestling, you know, I can't tell you how many people have tried to pawn themselves off as being like these great catch wrestlers, and they just say, oh yeah, I worked out with Carl, or I worked out with Billy, and then I ask you guys about him and they're like, the guy came for like a month or something. I know, you know, there's so many people like, so anyway, I just wanted to get your perspective on it, and you know, the importance of actually coming and learning, not using books or DVDs and things are fine, but your experience as a coach with that and reputation. If somebody's never been on the mat and you can't find anything about them wrestling, are they a catch wrestler?
There's no way you can explain it to them. Even with a proficient amateur wrestler nowadays, with the modern style of amateur wrestling, you can't explain the technique of catch wrestling because they've got no idea what's contained in it. But I'll give you an example. A very close friend of mine, Johnny Boyd, who was a pro wrestler, and he came to me one day and said, Billy, I want to learn catch. I said, okay. So he came to the gym 2 times. During those 2 times, for about an hour at a time, you can't learn even how to stand up in that amount of time. But all he wanted to do was borrow money from me, which was great, to buy a car. I was godfather to his son and whatever. We were close friends. But about 5 years later, he comes to America with a reputation that he is a catch-as-catch-can wrestler from Wigan. So I get a telephone call one night from a promoter in America, Bill Watts in Oklahoma, and he says to me, Billy, how good is this Johnny Boyd? I said, how good of what? He said, is he a good submission wrestler, catch-as-catch-can wrestler? I said, he's only been on the mat 2 times that I know of him, you know what I mean? But he made a reputation going around Europe, and when he came to America, saying that he was a catch wrestler, and shoot, you know, I've got like 8-year-old kids that I've trained that could beat him.
So that's kind of the problem, is that anybody can kind of just say it or whatever. And the other challenge that you'd mentioned to me is that you know, in kind of a school situation or a class, a guy will come to you for practice, like if you're teaching like 1 class a week or something, he'll come and you'll only get to work with him for an hour, and by the time you see him next week, he'll have forgotten everything and you got to start all over again, which is why we kind of structured this as a camp where people come and you're immersed for 6 or 8 hours at a time, getting it beat in your head to do it again and again and again.
So you get a concept of what the whole picture is, yes. And you take the great catch wrestlers, American and especially from Wigan, you know, you've got timing and just natural reflex actions, and reaction actions. In other words, if you've got to do something, everybody you're going to meet is going to react a little bit differently. And the only way you can learn this is to practice. Get on the mat and practice. All your free squats and weights are not going to give you that. I don't care if you're a marathon runner and run 26 miles 5 times a week. You're not going to get in shape for wrestling.
And you know, we had also talked that, you know, calling yourself a catch wrestler means that you actually get on the mat and wrestle, and that if somebody's telling you that they're a catch wrestler and they're not going to get on the mat and wrestle, then they're really not a wrestler.
The problem we have now is that everybody's like going to a 5-course meal, and the ankle submission, for example, is the dessert. Everybody wants to go to the dessert. They learn how to do 3 or 4 different ankle submissions, and now they're going around saying that, oh, I'm a catch wrestler. It's got nothing to do with it. I mean, they miss the soup, the salad, the main course. You know what I mean?
They don't know how to stand up even the right way.
Yeah, I mean, but like right now what's happening in MMA is that your ankle submissions, and again, especially against jiu-jitsu guys, the ankle submissions, which they've barred from jiu-jitsu because they don't know what to do about it. But it is simple. So everybody's wanting to learn ankle submissions, but there are so many more ways you can beat a guy, make him submit around the body than just ankles. But the first thing you got to learn if you're going to get an ankle submission is how to get the leg, and there's very few people that know how to do that the correct way. Same thing, catch as catch can wrestling is very simple. When you do something and it's easy, you're doing it right. If you have to use energy and power, you're not doing it correctly.
Which is also something that I see a lot. People have this misconception that catch wrestling is about strength.
It's nothing to do with strength.
Has nothing. It's all about knowledge.
Well, knowledge, and obviously you've got to be in condition. You get in condition by sparring only.
But you've said,
and you've got to have heart.
Yeah,
and that's it.
But
power does nothing.
But what you were telling me was that, you know, it's much better to be somebody like a Bob Robinson, a Billy Joyce, that's lanky and supple.
Oh, I love that.
Instead of some muscle bound. That a lot of the great catch wrestlers were the lighter weight guys because it was all technique and leverage.
Yeah. But even your heavyweights, one of your best amateurs of all time in America was Jim Rasky from Nebraska. And he was like 6'3", probably 270. But he was so loose. I mean, he'd do a splits like a ballet dancer, and you could take his arm and wrap around himself. You know what I mean? He was just so loose. Very difficult to control a guy like that.
Yeah.
So anybody you see with big muscles that are stiff bodily, they never caused a problem to a catch wrestler.
So, and the other thing that, you know, besides the book deal, and then also, you know, trying to get people actually to get out here so they can actually train with you and have it documented, and not be one of those blowhards going around saying, oh, I trained with Bill. Actually, you spent 20 hours for level 1 and another 20 hours for level 2, and eventually some of our guys have spent over 100 hours being able to work out with you.
That's it, yeah.
But on top of that, you're also, we're trying to get you out and about, trying to get you to, you've done seminars going as far as New Jersey, and we've in California and all over. But you're open for, you're accepting bookings, and, you know, we're trying to get you. We've got people doing inquiries in Australia and the United Kingdom. They're sending emails all the time.
Montreal.
Montreal. We're going to head up there. So I just wanted to let people know that we are just hell bent on getting this out and spread as a style.
I really want real catch wrestling to come back.
Yeah,
and it will, because when the people that we're showing now start to learn the real way to do things, they'll be able to beat any combat sport person.
Well, and I think what people find interesting is they'll look at somebody like a Tamura, or they'll look at like a Sakuraba, and because they don't understand, there's actually a method to what, it's not just crazy wild wrestling. There's actually a system or a style, catch as catch can, that underpins what's going on there. There's a way to learn this so you can be like those guys.
Well, Sakuraba's beat all the Gracie, the best of the Gracies, 4 of them. And, you know, sure, guys get older, they get injured, get lamed up. He's not as good now as what he once was, but you go back, say, to early 2000.
There was nobody better.
Could beat him. Yeah. Nobody.
Great. Well,
and that is one of my boys, and that's a catch you can. I mean, the guy that started MMA basically was Anthony Inoki, trained by Carl Gotch, who trained in Wigan, my gym.
Yeah.
My father started him. The whole deal, his real name's Carl Istas.
Yeah, and all of that is going to be in this new book. We're going to be talking about your connections to all of those guys, the birth of MMA and all that. So, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Billy, and hopefully people will get the opportunity that I've had and actually get to learn the real deal here. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks.